Facebook, what's up? We are back for day 30 of the 30-day live challenge. Super excited to be here with you guys again today. Let me slide my computer over a little bit. For those of you who may not know who I am Lanisha Lamb, author, writing mentor, and founder of the Pretty Geeky Kids Club. Our mission is to provide a holistic approach to fundamental learning, and we provide solutions that yield results. So I'm here with you guys on day 30 to talk about the 13 behaviors that could be blocking your child's success. Now, while I'm talking, I need for you guys to share some things with me, and I'll let you know what I want you to share in just a second. So as you come in, make sure you don't come in the house and not speak. So drop a hello, drop an emoji, a hi, peace sign, whatever your heart feels called to do. Just don't come in the house and not speak, right? And if you're watching on replay, hashtag replay for me. So without further ado, we're going to jump on into this. So a couple of weeks ago, might have been a week ago, I asked some of my teacher friends or associates what are some of their pet peeves when dealing with parents. And I got a list of things that I wanted to share with you guys. Now, a few weeks ago, we talked about the 4 reasons why you guys need to build a relationship with your teachers, and that inspired me to ask them what are some things that they deal with from parents that they don't necessarily like to deal with, right? So I'm going to share with you guys some of the things that they share with me, and in the comments, I want you to share with me some of your pet peeves when dealing with teachers. The whole point of this is so that we all have a better understanding of each other's position from parent to teacher, so that we can pretty much make a more harmonious collaboration or relationship, right? Because at the end of the day, our end goal is our child's success, and we tend to be more successful if we're all on the same page. So let's share our grievances. So while I am talking to you about what the teachers are experiencing, I want you guys to drop in the comments some of your pet peeves when dealing with teachers. And after the video is over, I will drop some of my pet peeves below. So anybody who has commented on this video, you will be updated when I do so, okay? Now, I'm not listing these in any particular order. There's no number 13 and number 1, right? I'm just listing them as they were given to me. So the first one that was shared was a lack of accountability or ownership for your child's actions. So as that was given to me, I perceive that as when your child does something wrong, you don't really want to take it as that. You know, you don't see any wrong in what your child is doing. And whenever I saw that, the one thing that I immediately thought about is in relationships, whenever we're having conversations or arguments, sometimes we want to be right. We don't want to hear the other person's point of view, right? And when you are in that state of mind, you can't really move forward. So you have to have an open mind and be able to listen to both sides. So that in our particular situation with the child and the teacher, we have to be open to what the teacher is saying. Hey, Nicole, we have to be open to what the teacher is saying. We can't assume that we or our child is always right or in the right, right? There are going to be times when your child is dead wrong. And we're going to have to hold them accountable for that and make sure that we are making them, I see all those hearts, holding them accountable for that and taking ownership for the behaviors that they're wrong for, right? The second thing that they shared is something that I already chatted with you guys about, and it is when we ignore the chain of command as parents. So when our child is having a problem in class, or hey Shane, or whenever we see something that we dislike about a report card or a progress report, instead of us going directly to the teacher, we immediately escalate it to administration. So the teachers really find, they really don't like that. Hey, from the Philippines, they really don't like that. They really prefer that you come directly to them and give them an opportunity to fix whatever is wrong, or give them an opportunity to address, what you have concerns with, so that you guys can come to a conclusion or resolution together. The third thing that they mentioned was parents waiting to the last minute to act. So whenever you got that progress report and those grades are not looking the way you want them to, that's when you're showing up. That's when you're calling conference calls. That's when, hey, Janae, that's when you're blowing their phone up, right? Instead of being present all throughout the year. Hey from Trinidad, hey Antonia, instead of being present all throughout the year, right? So we can't wait until halfway through the 9 weeks to start speaking up. Hey mom, we can't wait to halfway through the 9 weeks to start speaking up on our child's behalf or understanding and being present in the classroom. We have to be present all throughout the week as they're getting their homework, making sure that they understand it, sending those notes for things that we need clarification on, just making sure that we're really present and involved in that entire situation, because by the time progress report has come, it's too late. By the time the report card has come, it's too late. You've already missed 4.5, 9 weeks of opportunities to correct or intervene on behaviors, right? The next thing that they mentioned was having no structure at home. The lady who mentioned this particular one went on to say her children being unprogrammed on the weekends. So she went into detail saying that throughout the week, she is creating structure in the classroom. There are things that she's holding her children accountable for doing. Obviously, there's certain times that they have to do X, Y, and Z. But if the child goes home and there's no routine, remember we talked about the importance of creating a routine. If there's no routine at home, then essentially when that child goes home for the weekend and they come back on Monday, they have to be reprogrammed and they have to get reused to that structure. And so her thing is she really wants parents to try to sprinkle a little routine in there so that children are not totally thrown off the structure that's being created for them by their teachers. Hey, Tanya. So make a note of that, because we've talked about that already before, how important it is to create a routine for our children at home. Now, the next one that was mentioned is coddling our children. And I will actually group that one in with another one that they mentioned, which was babying your child at home and then expecting the expecting the teacher to do the same thing. So my child is really spoiled. Corvin is really, really, really spoiled. I do not expect for the teacher to baby him. However, I do understand that his spoiledness can show up in the classroom in a very real way. So as parents, we have to really take accountability and ownership for what we expose our children to at home, because really without intention, we could be setting our teachers up for failure, right? So try not to baby your child at home, and definitely do not expect for your teacher to baby them in the classroom, because the reality is they have 15, 20 more children to worry about, so they can't really baby little Timmy his every need, and every class doesn't have an assistant. And even if they did, there's still not enough people for children to be babied. So we kind of have to, start teaching our children to be independent and being able to take care of themselves and standing on their own. So I've coupled those two together, coddling and babying. The next thing that was mentioned, yes, do not set teachers up for failure. The next thing that was mentioned was defensiveness. So, and they could kind of go into not taking accountability and ownership, that not having an open mind whenever you're going in there and having those conferences with your teacher, you're getting defensive, right? Now, you have to understand that whenever you and your child's teacher is sitting down and they're talking to you about things that your child may need to do differently or better in the classroom, it's not an attack on you as a parent. All it is an assessment of what the teacher has seen up until this point, and she's trying to, I'm hoping, we're positively thinking here, and obviously I have experience with my mom, and I know how she works with her students and their parents. So when she's sitting down with her students' parents, it is in an effort to bring you in the loop for number one, and two, create some resolution for things that need to be changed in the classroom. So it's never an attack on you or your child. It is, I'm here to teach your child. So if I've identified some things that need to change, then we need to come together and figure out how we can change those things. So put the guard down. Let's not get a defensive, got your pads and stuff on, ready to put your dukes up. It's not, that's not the situation that we're in. All of our goals should be to get our child to a point of success, right? To get them to progress. So there's no need for you to be defensive when a teacher is constructively offering you some resolve. The next thing that was mentioned from the teachers was thinking that an IEP, and for those of you who are not familiar with what that is, an individualized education plan. For those of you who have children who have IEPs, teachers who teach students who have IEPs, they want you guys to know that just because your child has an IEP does not mean that they cannot get failing grades, because they can, right? So they want to make sure that parents understand this. And I think it's really important for, if you're not familiar with how things work, ask questions. Like, in my opinion, there's no question that's dumb, because I feel like whenever I'm talking to my child's teacher or anybody in the school system, I'm looking at y'all as the expert. You know, you've been teaching, this is what you do. And I'm not. I'm the parent. I'm helping from the home front. So I'm going to ask you as many questions as I need to, so that I can understand exactly what's going on. And I think that if you are a parent who has a child who has an IEP, you need to be asking even more questions so you can understand what's going on and you know exactly what to expect. But one thing that you can't expect, per this teacher, is you can't expect for your child to get hundreds just because they have a different learning system, or just because they have a different, maybe possibly grading system. You can't expect different treatment, right? So the best thing for you to do is get with your teacher, get with whomever the support staff is that is helping your child, and ask those necessary questions. Find out how you can intervene from home. Find out what it is that you guys need to do as a team to help your child get to where they are. Because just because they have a different way of learning does not mean that they're going to be necessarily be given anything, right? Because we don't want our children to be given anything. We want them to be challenged. Because what? In the challenge is the change, and in the change is in the growth. Right. All right. So the next one is that they mentioned is talking down to your child during a conference. And I think that, you know, sometimes parents want teachers to know that I mean business. And if you're telling me my child is doing something wrong, I'm going to get on him right in front of you so you understand that I don't play. Okay, we get that. However, understand that words have lasting impacts, right? Words mean things. Words affect your children in a very deep way. Words affect us all, even as adults, right? Like, you know, sometimes we hear some bad words. Sometimes somebody says something negative to us, and it might take you a little while to kind of shake it off a little bit. Imagine how that is for a child, you know, especially hearing it from somebody like my mom. I'm hearing it from the person that raises me, who's feeding me every day. So we have to be careful with the words that we are using to our child. Make sure that you're building them up. Even if you're in a situation where you're talking about things that they need to do better or things that need improvement, you still want to build them up. Mom says, please don't. I had a 6th grade parent tell me not to baby the son, but to give extra support or push, which is what I have been doing already. He wanted me to baby him. Okay, so she's talking about the teachers being unable to baby their children in class. Please make sure that you guys understand that it's just not possible. It's not humanly possible, right? It's not realistic for us to expect that. And I don't want you guys to talk down to your kids in the sessions or even at home or ever. Build them up, right? Because the more that we pour into them, the more that they're able to put out into the world, right? So we want to make sure that we keep that positivity going and flowing for our children so they can be successful. All right. The next thing that they mentioned, and we're almost at the end, right? Because, you know, I don't like to have these long, drawn-out videos because, you know, I have a little bit of adult ADD myself. But another thing that they mentioned was lack of communication from the parents. And this kind of goes into waiting to the last minute to speak up on your child's behalf as it relates to grades and performance, right? So lack of communication. When teachers are sending out notices, maybe they want to meet with you, maybe there is a PTA, PTO meeting, maybe there is some type of, we had Scoops for Success, whatever it may be, they don't want you to put it in file 13. We don't want you to trash it. They want you to read it and kind of get involved, right? Because obviously the more involved we are, the more our children see that us and the teachers are on the same team, right? They're going to feel obligated to perform in the classroom. So, you know, communicate with your teachers. Whenever they're sending you notices, they want to meet with you or whatever the case may be, respond. Go to the school. Show up. You know, you cannot expect for these people to invest more in your child than you're willing to. And I know we all lead very busy lives, but we have to make the time to be there for our children. We have to make the time to be there for them, right? So communicate with your teachers, communicate with administration, Communicate with the people who are serving your child in whatever capacity it is. Keep that line of communication open, okay? People are going to be, in my personal experience, people are more apt to do more for you, right? When they know that you're going to do your part. When you're responsive and you show up, you stand a better chance of them having your back, per se, in situations where it requires that. So you need to make sure that you are doing your part, that you are showing up on your child's behalf, and then they'll show up on both of you guys' behalf, okay? Another thing that they mentioned that they have concerns with is parents who are not concerned about attendance. Every time that I go to Corvin school, the teacher is complaining about the number of days that his classmates are missing. And I think, and now when I'm like, why do parents, obviously sometimes kids can't help it because maybe they might be sick or whatever. But for those of you who actually can go to school every day, you need to go to school every day. And it's weird to me because I guess because I've always been like that. Ever since I was a kid, I've always wanted that perfect attendance award. I don't know why. I just did. I want to be there every day, right? Even whenever I was working for somebody else, I didn't want to call out. I wanted to be there every day. Like, that's just what I wanted to do. So I feel the same thing with Corvin. He needs to be in class every day. And not even to mention Common Core standards and all this stuff they have going on in class. You can't afford to miss a day. You really can't. So, parents should be as concerned about their children showing up and being in class every day as the teacher is about them not missing, what she's giving them. One thing that Corvin's teacher shared with me is the reason why it bothers her so much when children miss a day is because she does not have much time for makeup. They literally have so much stuff crammed in these days. They don't really have a lot of time to, all right, class, little Timmy missed Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, so we're going to take today to review the things we went over at the beginning of the week. No, it's not going to happen. Like, it's just not even realistic for us to think that it would happen. So then when he comes in on Friday and it's time to take a test, and the test contains some of the things from earlier in the week, then what is he going to do? He's not prepared, right? And so then once he takes that test and gets a bad grade on it, then little Timmy's mom is going to be mad because little Timmy's not getting the grades that she wants him to get when it's on you, mom. It's on you, big Timmy mom, little Timmy's mom, because you didn't make sure he was in school to get what he needed to get, right? All right, so make sure your children are going to school every day. Okay, now the last two, I'm actually going to put them together as well. All right. The first one is my child does not do this at home. And the second one is my child has never had this issue before. Okay. So, I think, in my opinion, sometimes these responses come off as being defensive. Instead of you being open-minded to what the teacher is telling you is happening in the classroom, you ready with your rebuttal. Well, he never did this before. He doesn't do this at home, so I don't really understand what you have going in your classroom because at the house he doesn't do this. Or, last year he made straight A's, so why is it that he's not able to make straight A's in your classroom? Well, first of all, little Timmy's mom, only thing that I can tell you is what happens in the classroom. And the only thing that I can tell you based on last year is that the curriculum is different. So he might have done really well last year, but the teachers are different, and so is the material that we're covering. So we can't really talk about the past per se. We need to focus on what's happening now. We need to focus on the behaviors now. We need to focus on the performance now. So talking about last year is really counterproductive to us getting to where we need to be, right? So, and again, all of this kind of goes back to that being defensive. Let's not be defensive. We just have to be open-minded. We have to be open whenever we're going in there and talking to the teachers and listening to what's happened, and then figure out how we can change things so that we all can be on the same page, for one, and two, so our child can be successful. So, and obviously these things that I'm sharing with you are, I'm sharing with you in the hopes or with the assumption that your child has, a good teacher who is really showing up for your child, right? Which Corvin has a great teacher, and I've seen my mom is a great teacher, so I know what she's doing. And these are the things that I'm sharing for teachers who are going above and beyond for the students in their classroom. And when you have a good teacher, right? When you have a good teacher. So Do your part to make sure that your child is successful and you're not making it any harder on her. Because we don't want to drive out the good teachers. There's enough bad ones to go around. We want to keep as many of the good teachers wrapped in our arms as we possibly can. And how do we do that? We have to change these 13 behaviors. If any of these we are exhibiting at any point, we need to check ourselves, right? We need to find out. We need to check ourselves. We need to find out if we're the problem, and we need to figure some things out and make some changes, right? So I just want to come to you guys tonight and share with you the 13 behaviors that are blocking your child from success. And this is from the mouth of teachers. This is from their experiences with children in their classrooms and with their parents. Not necessarily saying this has anything to do with you, but if you know somebody who could benefit from hearing this, then share the video, right? If you found value in the video, share the video. You don't even have to tag them on their page. Send it to them in their messenger. Hit that share link, copy the link, and text it to them. Whatever you need to do to get the message to them, right? At the end of the day, all we want to do is make sure that we're all successful. And it starts with us. That's just the reality of the situation. It starts with us as the parents. So we're going to do our parts, or at least I'm going to be showing up here every night to make sure I give you what I have to help you do your part, okay? So I still want you guys to drop in the comments. One, I need you to say hello. Please don't peek in without saying hello, please. Thank you. And then two, if you're watching on replay, hashtag replay. Number three, I want you to drop below some of your pet peeves or the things that you dislike dealing with when you are interacting with your child's teacher, right? So we want to make sure that both sides have a chance to air their grievances and get things out so that we can come, hey Lee, so that we can come to create a more harmonious relationship, right? Because we've already identified that there is benefit in us having relationships with our children's teacher. So let's go ahead and get it all out in the open, and let's create a harmonious environment so this last half of the year our children can be and do great things, okay? Whenever the kids go back to school after holiday break, the middle of the year assessments will be, hey Talisha, the middle of the year assessments will begin. So while your child is home, I mentioned this to you guys last week, don't waste your vacation vacationing, right? So make sure that if there are any things that your child needs review on, that you are hitting those things every single day. And even for the things that they might not necessarily be behind in, keep that mind moving. Make sure they're reading for 30 minutes every day, and make sure they're getting some exposure to the things that they're doing in class. If you need help with worksheets, please feel free to contact me. Please feel free to subscribe to the link above. Once you subscribe, it'll give you access to some different worksheets and such. So that's all I have for you guys tonight. Like I said, please drop in the comments any pet peeves that you have when dealing with your children's teachers, whether it be present or past, or things that you've heard from your friends. And that's all I have for you guys tonight. Thank you for showing up. If you found value in the video, please share it. Please share it with whomever may need it. And again, guys, thank you so much. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place. Don't forget, parents, let's connect. Click that link up top, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.